Oh boy, is there stuff to yap about today. I have to remember to be nice. I need to remind myself to be nice. Hello, Fabina. Oh, there was a lot of... Huh, that is weird. YouTube's stupid. I know that at some point they did a thing where they gave everybody like an @username as well as like a channel name, so that's probably what happened there. At least that's what I think. Yeah, I think if you go into like, your actual settings and like find like the screen name and the channel name thing, I think that could fix that, but I'm not sure. But I think that's what it is. Because I had to do something similar at some point with my channel name, because it started giving me like random numbers at the end of it. I'm like, ew. I know, it feels so like robotic and gross. But oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. I actually had to write down a bunch of notes. Because I need to remember to be nice. We got like... I guess change of subject. We got a lot of things announced. And I have this in the corner here because I need to remind myself to be kind of nice. I'm very picky about voice acting, and we officially got the Twisted Wonderland English voice cast revealed, like the entire thing as just an entire post. And we only get to hear like the important characters for the Hearts Labile chapter. And I'm only going to talk about the nice things that I like about it, okay? Because I saw some names on there where I'm just like, oh, you were part of the Genshin Impact Impact drama. Ew. So like, yeah, I'm disappointed with some of the choices. But I'll give credit where credit is due. I feel like some people at least do a good job. It's okay, I'm not nice. If I was, I wouldn't bully the heck out of every fictional boy I know. Even the ones I know. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to come off as too negative, but I don't want to come off as like pretending that everything's great, you know? It's kind of like my opinions on like Disney movies in general, where it's like I can tell when something is not good or when I don't like something, and I don't want to pretend like these voice acting choices are 100% amazing and perfect. Because I feel like some of them are okay, like some of them are good. Like I feel like Grimm's is actually like the best out of every time I've replayed the trailer. I feel like Grimm is the only one that feels spot on. So, like, he sounds like a creature. So, I'm okay with that. You know, Grimm is a creature. He sounds like a creature. I do have critiques on Riddle, though, because I feel like the accent is barely there. When I replayed the trailer, like, you can kind of hear it sometimes, but you don't hear it that often, which kind of bothers me. Because again, this is just a trailer, so we're not seeing the whole thing, but yeah. So I don't mind the voice acting itself, IDK of the cast, but the voices acting itself is fine. I'll take what I can get. I won't bite the hand that feeds me too much. Yes, Grimm sounds great. I can't wait to bully him. Yeah, I feel like that's the best thing that I can say. Crowley, on the other hand, I feel like... Honestly, I feel like J. Michael Tatum really should have been the one to voice Jade, so that way he doesn't have to do a Sebastian voice. Because I hear Crowley, and I just hear Sebastian. And that's not how I imagine Crowley speaking. Hello, I just came back from listening to Frankenstein by Edgar Winter. It Keeps Raining by Doobie Brothers and Feel Like Making Love by Roberta Flack. Well, hello, welcome. Today I am critiquing Twisted Wonderland English dub voice acting. Because we got the official trailer released and I've listened to it a bunch of times. And the nicest thing I can say is that Grimm is spot on. I have my nitpicks. Also, I think Deuce is okay. Deuce's voice actor is okay. Ace feels a little okay too. Like, Ace and Deuce, they're fine. I have no critiques. I feel like they work very well. I imagine Crowley sounding more pompous. Yeah. I see sometimes English dub has different accent. Yeah. Indeed. Or just different vibes in general. Or sometimes the casting feels a little oof. Trey is a little too high. Exactly, that's what I thought. Like, the voice actor for Trey, he's a good voice actor in general, but I feel like the direction for Trey was not given correctly. Because Trey has a deeper voice, and for some reason, Riddle sounds more deeper than Trey. It's kind of weird. I don't like that. Also, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not vibe with Cater's voice in the English trailer. I am sorry. I don't know why it sounds like that. It doesn't sound like Cater. I'm sure the voice actor has done good roles before, like a few of the other people have done before. But Cater just does not sound like Cater. I don't like the way he sounds. He sounds like a parody of like an anime in the background of a cartoon. And I feel sad because, I mean, I don't even like Cater that much, but that voice just doesn't feel like it's Cater. I am sorry. I'm only going to talk about the Hearts Labiole, though, because they're the only ones that we can hear the most in that entire trailer, as well as Grimm and Crowley. But I will bring up Ortho, because I had to look into who Ortho's voice actor was, because that name just looked so weird, and I could not figure out who that was. So I had to look at some characters they voiced, and I feel like Ortho is in okay hands after being reassured. I won't be saying much about the voice acting for me. It's just, as long as I can understand what they're saying, because I'm living off of scraps here. Yeah, it's like, it's not bad, but it feels a little weird, you know, because, like, I'm just used to the Japanese voices, and, like, they sound in my head definitely doesn't match what I see in most of the dub choices. Like, Crowley specifically, I forgot the character's name in Devil May Cry 3. It's, I think it's the Jester. I think that was his name. That's kind of how I imagine Crowley speaking. But, like, yeah, he just sounds like Sebastian. I can't unhear Sebastian. Which isn't it's just weird. Because Crowley doesn't give off the same vibes that Sebastian does anyway, so it's just weird hearing that voice come out of Crowley. When you live off YouTube vids, you have the pain of never getting the feel of making the choice. Yeah. Although, at least because there are multiple dubs of the Twisted Wonderland anime, there's definitely more variety. So, like, you don't have to listen to the English dub if you don't want to. I did hear the Latin American version, and honestly, I think it's okay. Although, I feel like Riddle still sounds a little bit too deep for my liking, but it doesn't sound weird. Because I've heard weird Latin American dubs before, so, like, my familiarity with Latin American Spanish dubs is, like, not very great. But, I feel like at least for the Twist anime, the character voices fit a little bit better. But like, I'd probably still watch it in Japanese because I want to see the game animated, you know. But again, the nicest thing I can say is that Grim sounds the closest to what I imagined Grim sounding like in English. And I also forget sometimes that the voice actor who's voicing Grim, he can do goofy voices, he can do scary, like, he can do a lot of different voices. I'm just used to hearing his performance as Keaton in Fire Emblem Heroes. So I forget that he's actually one of those voice actors that's actually, like, voice actor, you know, like, he does multiple voices. He doesn't really typecast himself into specific types of characters. The thing is, I'm used to watching dubs. I don't watch sub because I'm illiterate and I can't read a lot of text, so I'm used to characters sounding different and stuff. Understandable. But that's why I'm like, you know, there's variety in the dubs, you know. So I feel like I'm not all that picky with voice acting. Yeah. I kind of am to an extent. It's like, as long as the name of the voice actor doesn't ring any, like, oh, you were involved in a bunch of stupid internet drama, then I'm probably gonna watch things in English. Like, I'll give at least the first part of the Twisted Wonderland anime, the Hearts Labille chapter, a chance in English after watching it in Japanese. Like, I'll give it a chance, you know? It's an excuse to just rewatch it as well. And to see if they actually do sound better as the anime goes on, because, like, you know, it's a trailer, and some of this seems to come from the early parts of the episode anyway. So it's like, you know, maybe this is just the awkward parts from the earlier episodes, you know? Maybe it gets better. I want to be positive about that, you know? As long as they do their job, that's what matters. Yeah. It's like, I want to be nice. I want to give some people the benefit of the doubt, but some people are not nice people. So I'm just not going to talk about them that much, but like, for the people who are nice, for the people who don't get involved with online drama, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. I just hope they pronounce things properly. Yeah. As far as I can tell, I'm pretty sure they pronounce Hearts Labille pretty accurately to how you're supposed to pronounce it in English. Because again, it's one of those words that are in English. I don't watch anime or shows anymore, but I'm not concerned at all. Special interest, you know. I'm just very passionate about this. Like, they announced this anime like a few years ago, so it's been a long time coming. And it's like, I knew that they were probably going to have multiple dubs because it's going to be on Disney Plus, so they got money. Clearly, with some of the choices that they picked, they got money to hire people. So, yeah, it's like, I'm not that surprised that, you know, it took so long for this to finally come out. I just want to enjoy what I want to enjoy. And again, the dubs at least are pretty optional. They're not like the end of the world. And I do want to try and be positive. Even if I have my own personal gripes with particular names. Someone on Discord gave me a bunch of sites to watch the anime on when I said I don't have Disney Plus, because they said, and I quote, not watching it is a crime. Sometimes I'm already just so tired thinking about it. Yeah. Although, can you link me some of those sites, because I also don't have Disney Plus at the moment. I don't have it at the moment. I'll slowly convince my dad to get it, because like he wants to watch King of the Hill, and I want Twisted Wonderland anime. So like, we're both on the same page of we need to get this back. We need to restore subscriptions. But yeah, that's what I'll say for the English part. So I don't need this gift anymore. That was just the reminder of me to be nice. Cause we have Halloween stuff to talk about. Cause we got Scully. We got Scully, and his name is Scully. Let me back off real quick. I'm just Scully. I love him. He's so cute. I don't have your contacts or anything. How will I even send it to you? Do I email? But email's me. I think you could just send it anonymously through Tumblr. You don't need to make an account for Tumblr. Yeah, the Skullster! He looks so cute! Ah! I love him. And I must show you the groovy for this card because it's so cute! He's looking down at everybody! He's so happy! And I like how it's a reference to the previous Halloween screens, like from the first Halloween event, you know, with the parades and all that. He's so cute. Yeah, he's adorable. He's based off of Jack Skellington. He's like a fanboy of Jack Skellington. He's so adorable. I love him. Number one people kisser over here, Skullster. He is kissing all them hands. Spooky Scary Skeletons by Adrian Gold. It's good for Halloween. Yes, it is. It is. As well as the Nightmare Before Christmas in general, because I love Nightmare Before Christmas. Let me pop back up. We'll just have Scully chilling back here now. Because he's just so adorable. And I wouldn't be surprised if this year's Halloween event is pushed into November, because I feel like that's happened before with the scheduling. Because we also had the Twisted Wonderland Blazing Jewel 3D concert event, which is going to be available on Disney Plus. So that means that you'll be able to find it eventually other places. So like eventually everybody will be able to see the concert, because I've just been hearing people who went there, which is usually like Japanese accounts, retelling their experience, and it sounds amazing. I need to see this live 3D concert of Twist Boys. But if you tried kissing me, I'd actually smack him. I have an adverse reaction to physical touch from people I'm not super duper close friends with. Understandable. Music always keeps me going. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye, Mercury. Thanks for dropping by and listening to my weeby rants. But yeah, I need to see that Blazing Jewel concert. Everybody's talking about how Azul's performance for his Overblot song was very sensual. I need to see it happen. But there's no need. It's gonna be available on DVD and Disney Plus. But the fact that it's gonna be available on DVD means that you'll probably be able to find it when it's no longer on Disney Plus. You know? Through the seas, you know? Because I just saw people like recapping the experiences, and everybody said Azul's performance was very, very sensual for his solo song. And I also Ida, his performance is funny, honestly, because he's definitely the most uncomfortable out of everybody. Freddy Fast Floyd time. You missed me talking about it earlier. Again, I was trying to be very nice. Like, the nicest compliment I have is that Grim sounds amazing. Like, he sounds pretty spot on to what I imagine Grim sounds like in English. Ace and Deuce voices, they're good. Crowley's voice just sounds like Sebastian, and I kind of don't like that. And then Trey and Cater, I don't really like how Trey and Cater sound, which is kind of sad because I like Trey's voice actor. He's done good voice acting roles, but I feel like he either wasn't given the best direction with Trey, or the casting director gave him that direction for Trey, and I don't really vibe with it that much. I feel like if I'm ranking the voices from the trailer, Grim is at the top and Cater is at the bottom. I'm sorry, I feel like Cater gets the short end of the stick, man. Why can't I see the person that said Freddy Faz Floyd? I don't know. I'm so hyped for Floyd. I can't pronounce that man's name. I'm sorry. I've never heard it spoken out loud. I just know that name for Diavolo, okay? I'm into JoJo, so everybody making the jokes about Freddy Fazbear or whatever, it bothers me because I'm like, Diavolo's right there. And I think that's a funnier comparison. Because again, Diavolo's a mafia boss. There might be some delays with chat messages, which is kind of sad, but like, Diavolo's right there. That's the comparison that I'm gonna be using, honestly, because it's honestly funnier to me, and I feel like it gives me more confidence that Floyd's voice acting is probably gonna be pretty okay. I did have to do research for Ortho's voice actor, though, because I mentioned this earlier in the stream, that I had to look up who Ortho's voice actor was, because that name just did not ring any bells at all. Like, I had no idea who this person was. So I had to double check, because, like, I was, like, worried. Because, like, what? Ortho's voice is one of those voices where it's either you gotta get a woman to do it, or you gotta find somebody who's really good at sounding like a kid, and they found somebody who does a good job at the second thing, so yeah. I knew him from when he did AFMAO and then Five Nights at Freddy's, so I've been excited. I've got FNAF Kid autism. I have no emotional attachment to FNAF, which is why I only recognize the name from Diavolo. The English dub for Diavolo. Which I thought was a pretty good job, too. So yeah. But again, there were some names in there where it's just like, oh, well, I'm not gonna watch that part of the anime in English then, because I don't like some of those people. I'm allowed to be personal and petty against people, okay? If I don't want to watch something, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm so excited for Ortho, he sounds cute. But we haven't really I don't think there's anything with the other characters. Bye-bye, Fabina! I don't think we have anything for the other characters yet, but I feel like Ortho's gonna be in good hands, is all I'm saying. Because I had to do some research. Because I was worried Ortho was gonna get the Kieran treatment from Pokemon Masters, where the voice just sounds so bad. Just, like, nothing like the Japanese voice at all. It was pain. Again, I'm very attached to these characters, okay? I'm gonna judge a bit harshly. I'm not gonna just instantly glaze the voice actors if I feel like they didn't do a good job. I've listened to a lot of their roles yesterday, and he's gonna kill it. Yeah. I just need the confirmation with my own ears. Cause, like, you know, it's still different characters, so there's still, like, different voices kind of going on, but it's like, I need to actually hear the performance before I solidify. Cause, again, I'm not familiar with anything that the voice actor has done. before, which is why I'm still kind of nervous. Like, I need to hear it for myself. For Ortho specifically, not just other work that he's done. Because, yeah. Because there's also voice actors, like the one who's voicing Grimm, where the range is off the charts. He can pull anything out of his hat. Because again, Grimm's voice actor, I'm used to hearing him as Keaton from Fire Emblem Heroes. Like, that's the context that I've had for that voice when it comes to that name. So it's like, yeah, I was kind of caught off guard because I'm like, oh, I forget that he's actually very good at voice acting. But yeah, I feel like Ortho's in decent hands. I didn't look into too many of the other characters yet. So, yeah. I don't have any big opinions besides Floyd. I don't know any of the controversy that the other cast members have had. I choose wonder, happiness, and joy. Yeah, I don't want to dwell too much on that either. It's just that because I recognize some of the names from the Genshin fiasco, I'm just like, ugh. Ugh. It already kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth because of the professionalism aspect, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm going to focus on the good stuff, you know. At least the voice actors who are not causing trouble, and most of the voice actors for the Hearts of the Guild chapter, as far as I can tell, don't engage with too much internet drama, so like, we good, man. And I think at least most of them are okay, you know, like, they're not talentless or anything like that. It's just that I feel like at least for Cater's voice acting, it just does not match Cater. So, I don't know. It's the same for Trey. Like, again, good voice actor. Great voice actor. I love Trey's voice actor in other stuff. I love him in Blue Exorcist, and I love him in Trigun, okay? And Trigun Stampede, but I haven't watched Stampede, but his voice work is still pretty good in there. But it's like, good voice actor, but I just feel like something went off with the direction for Trey. Like, he doesn't sound very Trey. But that could just be because it's like, you know, it's a trailer, it's from the earlier episodes. Maybe the voice acting gets a little bit better because, you know, it takes time to fully adjust to a character. So, again, wonder and happiness. I want to believe. But, like, personally, I'd still probably would just watch it all in Japanese anyway. I would just rewatch it in English in my off time. You know, for the fun of it. I'm gonna take the voices as they sound and not who they are. Cater and Trey sound off completely. Luckily, I'm not a Cater or Trey fan. Sorry for them, though. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I feel kind of bad for the people who were like, who kind of wanted better for Trey and Cater. But I mean, there's other voice dubs for the anime. I did hear the Latin American one. I feel like that one's okay. Even though I'm not very good at Spanish, but like I feel like it was an okay one. Although I feel like at least with the Latin American dub, Riddle still sounds a little bit too deep for my liking. But that's just me, personally. Like, in English, I think Riddle's voice sounds okay. It's just, the accent is, like, barely there for the most part, so it just comes off as kind of weird, like, did you want to commit to the British accent thing or not? That's the vibe I get with, Riddle. Which is why I'm like, this is, you know, it's a trailer, it's from the earlier episodes, maybe it gets better, because it sounds like it gets better when he's actually, like, yelling. But yeah, I'm gonna watch the anime in Japanese, personally, and just rewatch it in English at a later time. You know, because, like, I just want to see the game animated in all of its emotional, gut-punching glory. But again, Crowley, he just sounds like Sebastian. Which I feel like is a disservice to Crowley. Because Crowley does not have the Sebastian vibes for that voice. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to suck up the dub. I can't read fast enough to keep up with the closed captions. Riddle's accent, stop! I was annoyed about it. I hope it gets better. Yeah, I kind of hope so too, because like you can kind of hear it when he's yelling. But you can't really hear it when he's just speaking calmly, which is kind of weird. But like, that voice actor in particular, not a bad voice actor, but I didn't really like him as Fremine. Because I heard Fremine's English voice, and I'm like, ugh. Because, like, I play Genshin in Japanese, but I still kind of listen to the voices in other languages sometimes, and I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. But it's like, it's just the accent that tips me off. I'm like, like, did you want to commit or not? Because if you're going to commit, then Trey should also have a bit of an accent, because Trey's voice actor, he voiced Jonathan Joestar. And in that entire JoJo Part 1, he's pulling a British accent out of his ass. So it's like, if you wanted to commit to the British angle, commit to the British angle. I mean, Crowley kind of is committing to the British angle. Riddle sounds too deep and wasn't nearly British enough for my ears. It's not bad, but it could have been better with a bit more direction. Exactly. That's like my major thing, is that I'm just nitpicking. Because like, again, some of the voices, for at least that we hear in the trailer, because I don't really want to talk too much about characters that we don't have audio clips for actual, you know, the anime yet. But for what we hear, it's like, they're not bad, but I feel like the direction is a little weird. Because, again, I feel like, unironically, J. Michael Tatum should have been voicing Jade. Because, again, when he does the British accent thing, he just sounds like Sebastian. But since Jade wouldn't need an accent, he wouldn't have to pull that voice out, you know? And, like, the way I've always kind of imagined Jade speaking is more like Hyoya from Ouran High School Host Club and other similar roles where J. Michael Tatum is not pulling a British accent out. Because the vibes are very similar in that. Because, like, unironically, Jade is kind of just a different version of Sebastian. Kind of like how Riddle is just a different version of CL, honestly. People kind of get annoyed at the fact that people compare Riddle to CL, but again, it's Yana's characters, and if there's like tropes in her characters that she likes, I'm not surprised that they're being shown off again in the Twisted Wonderland, in Twisted Wonderland in general. Because again, sometimes the characters she writes in Black Butler get killed off. Scully's groovy is so cute. As a Scully neutral casual, maybe it's my narcissism being seeing the shroud in 3 pixels back yeah, let's change the subject to Scully, because I do want his card. He looks so cute and happy. And the fact that the background is just another angle of the Halloween intro from the first Halloween events is so cute. He's just watching everybody celebrate Halloween. It's so cute. The local ghost. I love it. I love it so much. I love the fact that he kind of just, after we get introduced to him in the event, he kind of still comes back every year as just the Halloween ghost. He's just vibing with everybody, even though they don't know he's there. It's just so cute. I love him. I do want to pull for his card, but at the same time, I don't think I'll be able to get it, which is sad. Because I tried pulling for Jack, because his card is also cute, his birthday card, and I did not get lucky. It's drawn so cute. I love seeing the older event get shown again, since it was my favorite Halloween event. Yes, the first 2 Twisted Wonderland Halloween events. They're just so cute. And I really liked how they were just one event just drawn out over the course of a year. The ultimate foreshadowing, I like to call it, because, you know, Malleus casually stopping time. is very important to the events of Chapter 7. It's like they were foreshadowing all of this all along. That's kind of what I like about the first Halloween event. The other Halloween events are very cute, but they don't feel that connected to, like, anything going on in the main story. I'm not always saving up for ortho, no exceptions. I'm always saving up for ortho, no exceptions. Okay, lie, I'm going for Sleepy Ida, definitely for that group. Yes. I have Ida's sleepwear card and orthos. I got so lucky. Cause like when I was pulling for Ida, I wasn't expecting to get him that easily. I think he came with the first 10 key pull. I'm just like, nice. Ortho, it took a while. I had to waste a lot of my resources, and everything that I wasted was left for Riddle, and I did not get Riddle. I did not get Riddle's birthday sleepwear card. It was so sad. Because he's so cute in that card. He's just a sleepy boy. He got bonked on the head. Honestly, I like how some of Riddle's cards is just him getting, like, casually bonked or something. It's kind of funny. Or just in unpleasant situations. Like being tipped off of a boat. It's just so cute. I don't have the phone storage to download the Japanese version, sadly. I'm gonna wait like a yucky Westerner. Big sad. At least when I got my new phone, I was able to re-download Twisted Wonderland. I didn't bother with the English one because I lost my info for that one. And I kind of didn't care for the English version that much. Again, I'm very nitpicky about localization stuff. Because, like, as an artist, if my work was to be translated to other languages, I'd want the people working on it to at least do their best to keep my intentions as 100% as possible. They can have all the free range with the jokes that they want, it's just that the intention, you know, the purpose, the moral meanings of the stories, etc., is like, yeah, I don't like it when that stuff gets messed around too much, because it's like an unintended domino effect. Or it ends up lessening the seriousness of a scene. But that's just me. That's usually why my critiques for, like, the English dub as well kind of are like that too. So it's like, if I was able to get something that I made to be like a big thing, I'd want as much love and care put into it as I'm putting into it. And I'd want to work with people who care about it as much as I do. You know? But sadly, that's not always how it works. Stop, don't remind me about the Western shifting and the censorship, it scares me. That's why the Japanese version is always there. As long as there's multiple versions and I can pick the one that I want, I'm happy. As long as there's access to the original too, because even if you don't have access to the Japanese version, you can still look up, you know, can still look up and keep up with it. We have the internet, it's possible. My coffee is done. Yes. Oh yeah, we also, I need to find the pictures for this. We also have Book 8 confirmations, and I am justified in being very sketchy about Crowley. Remember the time I just went off about Crowley? How he's up to no good? I'm going to be getting confirmation soon that he's been up to no good this entire time. To no good since the beginning, and I knew it. let me find at least an image of Crowley. Because I'm getting confirmation! Personally, I've been reading White Rabbit Fest, including The Precious Hand Heart with Ortho. Crowley is bad, bro! He is! And I knew it! I've known it since the beginning. Especially when people kind of remember what happens in the prologue chapter. As well as just Crowley casually having transformation potions, even though we learn during Octavianel's chapter and like later on when we hear more about where the Octatria come from, that it's hard to get your hands on that stuff. And he just casually has it. I'm just like, bro, this man's up to no good. And I had my suspicions during the Scarabia chapter as well, because I think it's during that chapter where he mentions that the reason Kaleem is even attending the school is because his parents are they paid for like renovations to that dorm. So like shady back alley deals. Crowley, what are you planning? He's so obviously a big villain, but he's so silly and joyful. I like being on both sides. Exactly. And when you remember that one of Yana's favorite characters is Undertaker and how he comes off in Black Butler and how Crowley kind of gives off the similar vibes, it's like, yeah, he's been plotting this whole time, but he keeps you off guard because of how stupid he acts. It's a silly facade. He doesn't want you to know what he's planning. But I've been telling everybody, he's up to something. He's probably plotting this. He's probably orchestrating this. He's either working for the big bad or he is the big bad. I'm starting to think he is the big bad. Because ever since this game started, I had a feeling, you know, Crowley's probably inducing these overblocks for some sort of ritual purpose. Along with the fact that he needs somebody from another world. Which is why he keeps delaying every chance he gets to send you home. Sure, you can send off the silly Tsum Tsums home, no problem, but, sending the random person you yanked from a different dimension, home? Nah, that's gonna take work. I like that silly man. He does nothing wrong. I did it, Malleus's dad or whatever the theory was back then. I did not vibe with that theory. I personally did not vibe with it, because I feel like Lilia would have mentioned stuff much earlier on, because, again, the characters do mention things that do sometimes end up becoming important later on. So, like, I feel like a fact like that would have been important enough to bring up a little bit earlier before we get to the Diasomnia chapter. But Crowley always had more Pumfiore connections to his design than, Diasomnia connections. I mean, let me get that photo. Because somebody put a picture comparing Crowley to the crow from, Snow White. And the vibes match a lot better, along with the fact that he has apple motifs in his vacation outfit. Which again strongly hints more toward Pumfiore, and he seems to be hanging around Pumfiore in some of the promotional trailers. Like, this man is connected to Pumfiore in some way, and we'll probably get more answers about Pumpfiore's scary basement. True, I never understood why it was so popular, but I remember everyone talking about it. If that gets revealed, I'll cry my eyes out and eat my shirt, I guess. Same. But again, if it was an important detail, it would have been foreshadowed much earlier. And kind of looking back at everything, I don't think that's the case. Let me see, I'm gonna pull up a, goodbye, Scully. You're gonna have to go away for a little bit. I'll put Scully back up later. It's just I need to show the image yoinked from a screenshot on Twitter. Because this was again posted by like the Japanese side of the fandom. But in general, the image is like, no, he looking awfully suspicious. He looking awfully suspicious. Because I like, there was always a toss-up between what crow he was supposed to be on, and I feel like as the game went on, it was pointing more and more towards Pomfiore and Snow White. Like, that's the crow he's based off of, the Queen's crow, not Maleficent's. If anything, Malleus's actual father would be the crow from, I mean, not the crow, the raven from Sleeping Beauty, because again, in English there's a distinction between crows and ravens, but since they're both technically just corvids of different sizes, some languages don't have a distinction between the two, so. And there is a difference between those birds specifically, because one is specifically a crow and it's small, and that's the queen's, the evil queen's crow. And then we have Maleficent's raven, which is a bigger bird and less cowardly. Because the evil queen's crow is a little bit cowardly. It's kind of just there. Whereas like Maleficent's raven has a name. It's Diablo. No, it's Diablo. Her raven's name is Diablo, so yeah. Can't wait. I need to know what happens in book 8 right now. Oh, when we get more RSA characters. I do want more RSA characters. I would be okay with RSA characters showing up either in the main story or just random events, because I want to see more of them. Because so far we don't have that many, and we only have one RSA character who's based off a Disney princess. I kind of want to see Prince Rael too, because he's clearly supposed to be based off of Ariel. I want to see what Rael looks like. I'm gonna put Scully back. Honestly, I might have this card up as the background for my waiting room image for a while, because you know, it's October, it's Halloween vibes, it works. We're just gonna have him in the background now, because he's cute. Cute ghost boy. But yeah, chapter 8. I believe the title is Enforcer of the Forbidden or Enforcer of the Taboo. Something along those lines when translated. So I'm curious, man. I need to know. I need answers. Trying to readjust myself. Okay. I need answers, man. Because again, like, a lot of the stuff that happened in the prologue kind of gets brushed off as the game moves on, and you kind of forget about it. So it's either we're going to see the Grim Overblot monster in the chapter 8, and it's going to be like the end of the story, or we're still going to have to wait on that. Or this is going to be another long chapter. Which I'm okay with. It's just that if it's gonna be another long chapter, I kind of don't want the little mini map things anymore. I don't like the mini maps. I don't like playing through the maps. They kind of drag it out for a bit too long when it's already long, you know? But like, I can see from like an organization standpoint of why they probably did that. Because again, it would have been so long to scroll through all of that. And it's kind of just throwaway dialogue sometimes in the chapter stuff. But at the same time, it's like, I'm tired of it, please. I'd rather return to mini games, the rhythm games, even if they don't make that much sense. Give me the rhythm games back, please. or new inventive mini games, kind of like the actual mini arcade games in the Ignite chapter, where you're playing like Hercules arcade games. I would like something like that, please. I'm tired. I'm tired of the max. They take too long to get through anyway. I'm very excited to hopefully get some ramshackle lore. Please, please, please. Anyway, I'm unfortunately very sick and I'm gonna get a headache, so I'm gonna lie down. Tweet more oomph. Oh, I will try. But like this gif I had in the corner earlier. Like, you know, the quote from Bambi. That's kind of why I don't tweet too much. Cause sometimes I don't have nice things to say. I just want to be honest about that. Like sometimes it's just like, you know, there's nothing nice for me to say, so I'm just gonna, you know, I'm not gonna say anything at all. The harsh critiques are for the besties. And or the IRL friends where I'm able to be a little bit more rude about things. You know, I'm all about time and place. Time and place is important. But yeah, it's almost been an hour anyway, so I'll be closing the stream anyway, because I pretty much talked about everything that I wanted to talk about, and I mean, I had notes too, which was basically the same thing of what I was talking about with earlier with the English translations, so I pretty much just followed all my notes. Twitter is for honesty. I like your opinions. It's funny. I'll see you on the timeline with you. If I could think of funny ways to express my opinions, then maybe, because I'm still not comfortable with that. At least on Twitter. Surprisingly, I'm a little bit more comfortable when I can say my words and you can hear the sound of my voice. Kind of like giving you an idea of if I'm being too serious or more jokey and lighthearted or whatever. But yeah. That's about that. I might make a Tumblr post of the notes that I made. But again, I feel like that would be a little bit too rude. And people are kind of like, be nice, you know? Be nice. It's like, yeah, I am trying to be nice. I'm giving some critiques. I'm not actually pointing out people's names directly. But some people would just be like, it's still mean. Why are you being mean about the English voice casting? Because I care! I care about this game way too much. But yeah, I might shorten some of my notes and make a Tumblr post explaining some of my thoughts about the voice acting. Again, if I had to rank the voices for the Hearts Labial, which is basically 6 characters, I'd put Grim at the top. Ace and Deuce are like both tied for second. Crowley is in the middle because honestly, not a bad voice actor, but it just sounds like Sebastian. And then Trey below Crowley because I feel like the direction for Trey is just not there. Because again, the voice actor for Trey, good voice actor. He could do a British accent if you wanted him to do one, but you didn't, so. And then Cater's at the bottom. Poor Cater. Even the English localization and the English voice, for some reason, they just don't feel like Cater. I feel bad for Cater stands, man. This boy gets the short end of the stick because he's just so hard to figure out. Hi, Adriana! Welcome! I went on a rant about, well, not really a rant, but I gave my thoughts about the English cast trailer. Scully, also, yes, I saw the English. My thoughts about the English trailer are one of the few where I'm just like, there's some good things, but I have so many nitpicks, man. I'm too attached to the original voices. It's hard to try and readjust to the English voices, especially when I feel like some of them just don't match the vibes of the characters. And it's like, you know, it's a trailer, and it seems to be from the earlier episodes, you know, of the Hearts Labial chapter, so hopefully it gets better the longer the anime went on. Because, you know, that happens. But, current opinions, the only good thing I have to say is grim. Riddle sounds good. Crowley sounds like Crowley, and Trey's okay. Same with Astius. Yeah. Cater got the short end of the stick, honestly. And again, Crowley, he just sounds like Sebastian. You is okay. Also Cater. Oh yeah, I forgot about you. Yeah, you is okay. I feel like Cater just, I don't know. It doesn't sound like Cater. I feel bad, man. Poor Cater. I even feel bad about Cater in the English localization for the game. Cater's dialogue just doesn't feel like Cater. Cater's one of those weird characters where it's hard to translate him from Japanese context to an English context without sounding either really outdated or just really weird. I don't know, like, the vibes just don't match correctly. Especially because Cater's not the same type of character as Ida. So I find it weird when Cater's internet lingo kind of matches more with like a gamer instead of somebody who uses Instagram all the time. My friend a Cater stan, and even she didn't like it, kind of. Yeah, it's just like, I feel bad, man. Like, I just have nitpicks about some of the characters, even if they're not my favorites, because it's like, the vibes just don't match. I'm not, why? But yeah, it's just... Grim is honestly the best out of all the voices from the trailer, because I've rewatched it a few times, and Grim is just spot on. It sounds like a little creature. I love him. I like both him and Ida are tech, kinda, but Ida fits. Yeah, Ida fits because he comes off as a gamer otaku gremlin, and it's easier to find context for Ida. Cater is more like a normie on the internet. Oh, your besties, they were here earlier. I'm sorry. Yeah, Cater's dialogue it's supposed to come off as more like spends time on Instagram and Pinterest 24/7. Like, that's the vibes that I get from Cater. Because again, he talks about following trends a lot and keeping up with the latest trends, and he kind of just talks like all nice and pleasant and fake. I know, it's so sad. Which is why I feel like when they try to make Cater speak how he should speak, it kind of sounds weird because they're confusing his lingo for something they're probably more familiar with, which is like gamer, gremlin, otaku, internet talk. Which works for Ida, but not for Cater. Even though Cater does kind of play games, he's like a trendy person. He's only going to keep up with things that are popular. When season 6 comes soon, maybe, I hope they dub VA matches Ida's laugh. I don't know. I don't know. The VA... There were some VAs in that listing, in the cast list, that I don't like them. On a petty personal level. And I feel bad about Ida, oh boy. It's like, I at least hope, you know, I hope that he does a good job, but I don't like that person as a person. I think I have the... Oh boy. Let me find the post, because the casting director announced it. It wasn't like an official post or anything. It was the casting director, or at least one of the casting directors. Because for some reason the announcement is the weirdest announcement ever. I thought it would be, like, announced as part of, like, the trailer or whatever. But it's not. Also, I saw your Halloween outfit nice and super. Oh, thank you. Halloween model is gonna take a while to work on because I got flashbanged with Twisted Wonderland news. Let me just... I mean, I could screen share, but I don't want to. So I'm just gonna screenshot the tweets. Because there are names on this list where I'm like, ugh, I don't like this person. But they show up, they're gonna end up showing up much later anyway. It's just like for the Hearts Labial characters in general, most of those voice actors I'm chill with, in a sense. Like, oh, you're okay. You do decent work out there. It's specifically the ones that show up later that I'm just like, ugh. But, this is the... This is the English one for the Hearts Labial, our main characters. Again, I'm familiar with, Grimm's voice actor for Keaton in Fire Emblem Heroes, which is why I was flabbergasted that he did such a good job for Grimm. Because I forgot, like, oh yeah, he does more than anime dub work. Ace's voice actor also worked on some Fire Emblem stuff, so I'm used to that voice as well. Yeah, J. Michael Tatum is Crowley, and he's just putting on a Sebastian voice. I'm sorry. Unironically, they should have given him Jade, so that way he doesn't have to do a Sebastian voice. He would have the Sebastian energy, but not the Sebastian voice. The Sebastian voice does not work with Crowley, I am sorry. I don't get Sebastian voice vibes from Crowley. Also, Hunter McCoy, I knew do sounded familiar to me. Yeah, it's polyester. I have the urge to make cursed animated clips now. With that knowledge. But yeah, that's the first part of it. And then here's the second part. I don't know if the names are gonna show up as clearly, because again, I just took screenshots, but there are some names on here of people that I just personally do not like. Let me shrink the chat a little bit, just so that we can kind of see the one that's blocked off. Yeah, I'm gonna keep Thumper here. As a reminder to me. I should have made... Yeah, he should have been either Azul or Jade. Because again, at least for me, when I hear Jade, I hear Kyoya from Ouran High School Host Club. Like, that way of speaking. That's what comes into my brain when I hear Jade talk, and when my brain just translates him into English when I read the subtitles. Let me just put Thumper here, too. This is a reminder to me to be nice. I'm critiquing the quality of work, not the people. But again, some of these names I don't know anything about. All I know is that for Vil, his voice actor was a fan dub voice actor for Vil, so I know what he sounds like. And honestly, I think that was a good call, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, because, again, Azul's voice actor also does Fire Emblem work. And, honestly, a lot of his voice acting work kind of sounds the same. I'm sorry. Oh. Yeah, that was exactly my thoughts. Again, because I recognize some of these names from the Genshin fiasco, and that's why I'm like, Although Matthew Mercer as Rook honestly works. Because yeah, if you know what Yosuke from Persona 5 sounds like, that honestly is Rook. That is just Rook. Also, what dub for Vil I want to hear? I forgot what fan dub it was. But it's floating around there somewhere. I think if you look up his name, you'll probably be able to find it. Yeah. I also feel sorry for Kaleem enjoyers, because I don't like the voice actor that much. I've heard his performance as Okaroon in Dandadan, and I did not like it. I'm sorry. I feel bad for Kaleem enjoyers, because I don't think he's a good fit for Kaleem. I am sorry. I heard Malleus's voice actor and his voice work so far, because I saw the demo reel, and I think he's gonna do a good job as Malleus, probably. His voice kind of can reach the vibe that works with Malleus. I don't know anything about the other voice actors for the Diasomnia yet or anything. I still need to look into some of that. Although apparently Lilia's voice actor has voice acted some cool badass vampire characters before, so that fits for Lilia because he is supposed to have a deep voice. Along with the fact that his deep voice is he's also purposely trying to sound cuter than he actually is, because that's just how Lilia speaks. So, I don't know, I need to hear these people as the characters to get more solid understanding, because I also did some research on Ortho's voice actor there, and I feel like Ortho is in good hands. I just need to hear the performance as Ortho to see if it fits or not. Okay, I found Vil's voice actor voicing another character. Yeah. Because I've heard him, I don't remember which fandub it was. I think it was the Avalon fandub that he was a part of. Where he had a very good Vil voice, honestly. Again, everybody making the jokes about Floyd and Five Nights at Freddy's. I only recognize that name as the voice for Diavolo in JoJo, so. So I'd rather see people making the JoJo jokes instead of FNAF, but I just personally don't like FNAF. But again, like, the fact that his voice actor did Diavolo, it gives me hope that they don't need to pull in another voice actor for Floyd when we get to the Scarabia bit with the voice thing. What? FNAF? Huh? Floyd's voice actor voiced Funtime Freddy, I think it was, in the FNAF. And that's why everybody keeps making that joke if you go online. Personally, I want to see more JoJo-related jokes, because, yeah. Diavolo is right there! He's a mafia boss! And Octavianel has, like, mafia vibes. Like, come on, the jokes are right there. Mafia fish. But that's just how my brain works. I look it up, he voices a few characters. Yeah. I just recognize the Diavolo performance because I've heard Diavolo in English. His voice kind of matched. Yes, Mafia. Exactly! Because I feel like just saying the Funtime Freddy thing doesn't really fit, but at the same time, if you acknowledge both, that works with Floyd, because Floyd has that weird little thing about him where he sounds kind of cutesy but threatening at the same time. So that way when you hear him actually sound threatening, it's scarier. I don't know anything about the other voice actors for Octavianel, except for Azul's voice actor is also a VTuber, so... And honestly, I think his work sounds a lot samey. Because again, his voice actor also did a lot of Fire Emblem stuff, and a lot of the Fire Emblem characters just sound samey. Yeah. he apparently said he's gonna post a video of him laughing for Floyd, so I kind of want to hear it. Because again, Floyd has a very distinct laugh. It sounds like vaguely threatening, cute, raspy. Like, I don't know how to describe it thoroughly, but there's like a weird, cute, threatening vibe to his laughter. Scared, but gonna look up Colleen. Again, I'm reminded of Thumper. I need to be nice. But I've heard his performance as Okaroon in Dan Da Dan, and I just don't vibe with it because, again, Okaroon's voice in Japanese is the same one for Riddle in Japanese. And honestly, anybody who has to voice a character by, what's his name again? I know I wrote it down. I just have a hard time pronouncing it. Natsuki Hane. Natsuki Hane. Anybody who has to voice a character that's already done by Natsuki Hane is climbing an uphill battle because the man is good at his job. I think the only English voice actor that comes close to matching a performance from him is the one who voices Tanjiro in English. I don't know who voices Tanjiro, but he's okay. But again, Natsuki Hane, phenomenal voice actor. It's gonna be tough to try and match that. Haven't. He kind of sounds okay, but I think his voice would match when Kaleem's under Jamil's spell. I'm gonna look. Yeah. I don't like the guy, so I'm harsher in my thoughts. But yeah. Although again, Jamil's voice actor seems to be the same one for a Genshin character, Al Hatham. I have not heard his voice in English. But that's context for that. Again, Cater, Cater's voice. I feel bad, man. Cater just kind of sounds Cater sounds too much like a generic anime dub that you would like hear in a parody. I feel bad. I feel bad, man. It just doesn't match Cater. I don't know anything about the Savannah Claw voice actors that were chosen, other than Leona's, because apparently he's a Broadway actor. But honestly, from the clips I heard, I don't know how well he would be for Leona. But I wouldn't be surprised if they hired him to voice two characters, because I feel like he would also make a very good Sam. But that's just me personally. But yeah. Again, I must be nice, because everybody, you know, they're doing their job, but I feel like, you know, some people did it better than others. It's just, I feel like in general for voice actors, as long as they don't engage too much on the internet, I feel like it's better, you know. Zach Aguilar, he voices English Tanjiro. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot his name, but I know he voices the main character in Genshin, so. And he's actually a pretty decent voice actor too, so. Again, one of the few that can come close to matching a performance from the Japanese version of the character. Also, it's funny, Leona's voiced by a Broadway actor when he hates stuff like that. Yeah, that's the funny thing, but I think, because I haven't heard him specifically voicing other anime characters, because he's done a few other anime characters. So I don't know exactly how he's gonna do Leona when I've only heard the Broadway clips. And I'm just kidding, this voice sounds better suited for Sam. Okay, here to just say, I bet one snippet of my hair that bungle stray dogs wouldn't make me cry. I don't know what it is, but my friend said But my friend kept saying it was so sad I'd be cooked. I don't think I ever watched Bungo Stray Dogs. I've heard of that one. Wait, was Alex Lee one of the voice actors? Yes, that was for Silver. I need to see who that is, honestly, because I don't know what he sounds like. Actually, I could probably see if he voiced a Fire Emblem character or not, because I know some of these voice actors did voice for Fire Emblem characters, and I have the game. So, again, that's where I'm like, I forget that Grimm's voice actor can also do normal people. And other people. He can do creature voices. He's also Zenitsu. Oh, I've heard Zenitsu speak. Interesting. I'm assuming he's one of the people who has range. Because I know what Zenitsu sounds like in English, and I'm just not getting. Oh boy, I need to see more work. Tanjiro and Zenitsu English VA are together again. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think they'll be able to interact that much. I don't know. But yeah, that's fun. Let me see my catalog of heroes. Yeah, I don't know. I forgot where the catalog was in Fire Emblem. Not Bandage Barracks. Oh, here we go. That way I can scroll through more. Yeah, I don't know. Dr. Facilier, voice actor as a nod. For real though. Oh, Facilier's voice actor has done other stuff. I know that he's working on Hell of a Boss. Not Hell of a Boss. Has Been Hotel. He voices in there. I forget the character's name though. I'm just a little sad that even with all the Disney money, we can't have Jade's original voice actor voicing Jade. Cause the Japanese voice actor of Jade he speaks English as well. But I guess he doesn't do English work. I want Sam to have the voice that's all. Yeah, that would be cool. And you'd have like a small role anyway, because Sam doesn't really show up that much. But I feel like the guy that they got doing Leona could also do Sam if needed. I think my Fire Emblem is glitched because why is May the chibi sprite here? That's weird. Wait. I got kind of distracted because I'm like looking through my Fire Emblem. I don't know. It sucks. Jade's OG VA would have matched. Yeah. Oh, but I did see Jade's VA doing some of Jade's lines in English on YouTube. Yeah, it's like, I feel like that was a missed opportunity, especially with all the Disney money you're gonna be getting with the project. Like, you couldn't reach out, you couldn't negotiate a deal. They all laughed at her, but by God, the crap pot conspiracy theorist was right. Hello! It is I, Crowley is up to no good, and we're talking about voice actors, and I have this gif of Thumper to remind me to be nice. I need to be nice. I'm worried for Malleus, though. I did hear Malleus's English VA, his demo reel, and I feel like Malleus is gonna be okay, but again, I need to hear him actually voicing as Malleus. I had an ortho PFP on Discord, and I said to my friend who had Shadow Milk, frick you rotten blueberry milk and just food. And she did said to me, oh, okay, you did, robot child. That's funny. What's the buzz this time beyond Chapter 8? Oh boy, I'm glad you asked. Let me recap some of the details, even though I talked about it earlier in the stream. So beyond Chapter 8, we got the English dub voice cast for Twisted Wonderland, and an English dubbed trailer, and I have my thoughts. And we also have the Blazing Jewel 3D concert that was held over the weekend. It's going to be released on DVD and on Disney Plus for a time. So that's the news. But I had quite a lot to say about the English voice casting, because like I've mentioned this before in other streams. Like I'm very picky about voice acting. I need to hear Grimm because I hope he has a New York accent. His text implies he has. Well, he doesn't, but he sounds like a creature, and he sounds similar to what the Japanese version of Grimm sounds like, so I am pleased. I'm pleased with Grimm's voice. Also, what's Blazing Jewel? Also, I thought all the VAs talk on Twitter was for Japanese version. No, the English dub VAs have officially been announced in the weirdest way possible. By the I think one of the dub voice acting directors on Twitter. Which is a weird way to announce that. Anyway, Blazing Jewel was like a 3D concert event where the Twisted Wonderland characters basically kind of performed in a Hatsune Miku-esque live performance with the original songs from the game. So, yeah. Anyway, bestie, bye Marcus, bye Ambicus, Wambicus. I gotta go now. Bye-bye, Adriana! I mean, Fabina. The names were too tiny, I couldn't see. It's like I say about Crowley and Rook, Grimm is grim. Yes, Grimm is grim. Really? Yeah. Yeah, Blazing Jewel is like a 3D concert event. I know I retweeted some of Abhil's Japanese voice actors standing in front of the flower displays that were at the concert, because that's something that they do in Japan for concerts. They make flower bouquet arrangements for their favorite members and stuff like that. I thought you were conflicted about Grimm from what I saw. I haven't seen the trailer though, or Blazing Jewel. I'm conflicted about everything else. Grimm, not really. I'm conflicted about Crowley because he just sounds like Sebastian. Because J. Michael Tatum is just putting on the Sebastian voice, but for Crowley, and I feel like that's not really Crowley. Unironically, I said this earlier, unironically, he should have been casted as Jade. Because when he doesn't do the Sebastian voice, he doesn't sound like Sebastian, but he still gives off the energy. And that's how I picture Floyd speaking. If you've heard Kyoya in Ouran High School Close Club, the English dub, that's how I imagine Jade speaking most of the time, because it just fits. There's like a sass to the energy. Also, I'm sad. Oh boy. Oh no. If it's about the blazing jewel, it's gonna be available. You don't need Disney Plus. Crowley doesn't work if you have his JP vocal pitch in English. It's not really that, because the way I imagine Crowley speaking is, like, Jester in Devil May Cry 3. At least, that's what I think his name was. It was the Jester Clown guy, but, like, something like that, but less hammy, if that makes sense. If you know what, that character sounds like. I got let go of my job. Well, I have to quit, but still, aw. I know that feeling. It's sad. Hopefully you can find another one quicker than I can. I was crying so hard I have Disney Plus. I don't have it anymore. That's why I want to try and get my old job back so I can at least get it. Take me back, please. I want my Disney Plus back. Hang on, I'm gonna go on my tablet. Yee. I do have a lot to say. Oh my goodness. Even though I'm basically kind of just repeating myself again. But Halloween model has been put on hold because of the flashbang of Twisted Wonderland news all at once. And book 8 stuff. Oh my gosh. What exactly did they confirm about Crowley in Chapter 8? Well, they just announced that Chapter 8 is going to be coming, but the preview trailer, I don't know if I retweeted it. I probably did. I did retweet it. But the preview trailer is kind of like implying that Crowley is in charge of whatever has been happening behind the scenes with the Overblots. It's kind of implied that he's probably in charge of giving the main character those flashback dreams of, like, you know, the events of the Disney movies where the villains are being their villain selves. Is kind of implied that Crowley is definitely the mastermind behind whatever is happening. And I'm like in my Crowley rant, I was right to suspect that Crowley is up to no good and that he has connections with Pomfiore and the Evil Queen, and that he's based off of the Evil Queen's crow and has nothing to do with Malleus. Sure, Crowley might be a fae, but he has nothing to do with Malleus. Even if Malleus's father is also a raven fae or whatever, it still has nothing to do with Crowley because he's specifically a crow. Even though there isn't really a distinction between those corvids in most languages, including Japanese, Crowley is specifically connected with Apple imagery and Pomfiore in specifically, because a lot of preview trailers for the game also kind of have him just ominously hanging around Pomfiore. And his vacation outfit has a crow with apples on it all over it, so I feel like, again, when the game is foreshadowing something, it's going to be pretty obvious when you look back on it, and everything for Crowley doesn't foreshadow any connections with Malleus. While it's fun to think that Malleus's father might be Crowley, I don't think so, because I feel like Lilia would have made an offhanded comment about something with Crowley, but for most of Lilia's comments about Crowley, he doesn't comment anything like that. From what I remember, and from what I can recall, like, if it was that important, it would have been mentioned somewhere earlier, either in events or in the earlier storyline chapters. It would have been mentioned. Because if the game is foreshadowing something, it isn't shy about foreshadowing it. Now we need another Crowley stream. Also, it just hit me. His name is a play on Crowbird. Hey, welcome back. Yeah. I'm just talking about Crowley and how I'm correct about Crowley having more connections with Pomfiore again, and the crow from Snow White, along with the fact that he's the one who's like messing with the Dark Mirror for something. Like, he has more connections to Snow White than he does with Sleeping Beauty. He is not connected to the Raven, he is connected to the crow. And I feel like that was definitely something that was harder to figure out because, again, Japanese does not have a distinction between crows and ravens like the English language does. A lot of language don't distinguish between those because they're both corvids anyway. One is just small, and the other is just bigger. Ravens are the bigger one, and crows are the small one. And Crowley's connected to crows, and he's also connected to apple imagery. Again, his vacation outfit, I've shown it off before, it is covered in apples. And again, this image too, this ominous image of Crowley from the trailer, where somebody put the Snow White crow in the skull. Crowley! What if Crowley is the one who twisted the tails of the villains into making them nobler than they were? That's what I'm thinking! I've always had this suspicion. I feel like if I go back in some of my chats with my friends, I probably can have proof that I've been thinking about this for a very long time, that Crowley is the one causing these. And I feel like less and less that he's working for the big bad, and more like he is the big bad. I know! Ah! It's like, it's been staring us in the face all along, but people want to think that he's Malleus's dad because, oh, they're both fairies. And we don't know what Malleus's dad is. Look at his hair making the skull! Exactly! I've never been a fan of the Crowley is Malleus's dad theories, because I feel like if we were supposed to know actual important information about Malleus's father, we would have gotten it in that Dsomnia chapter. But the most important information that we get is that he and Malleus's mom and Lilia were like a trio of best friends. Abby's the Mad Pat of Twisted Wonderland. Bro. What if Crowley killed Malleus's dad? I would believe that more than Malleus is Crowley's dad. I feel, because like I've also mentioned this to one of my friends, that Crowley probably has a connection to the disappearance of Malleus's dad, but I don't think he is Malleus's dad. But if I am wrong, I will be proven wrong in the story. But the evidence does not align with it. The evidence presented so far does not align with me thinking like that. Because again, if Malleus's dad is supposed to be important, we would have gotten more important information out of the Dsomnia chapter. But he's kind of just an offhanded mention. And it's more like he's just a casualty of war that just kind of went missing and nobody knows what happened to him, rather than he's actually planning something. Along with the fact that I feel like Lilia's teachings to Malleus is just based on what he learned from Malleus's father. Because Malleus's father is also mentioned as being somebody who's like, I want Fae and humans to live together in peace. That was his whole thing. And Melanor was like all for it, even though she's kind of like the opposite of Malleus's father. I think Malleus's father's name was Revan. But yeah, she's like the opposite of Revan, but she's all for Revan's idea. I think maybe they were longtime rivals, and Malleus wouldn't take how many W's Malleus's father was taking, so he got jealous and orchestrated his murder in a way that wouldn't be blamed on him. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Crowley hates Ambrose. He's the headmaster of RSA, which is the rival school to Night Raven College, and Crowley makes it very obvious that he does not really like, he doesn't really like Ambrose. Oh, I saw a Twst fan art today. Hey! Guess that was his name. Yeah, Revan. At least the official English pronunciation of it is Revan. I meant Crowley couldn't take how many W's Malleus. Yeah, I figured. I think Crowley is supposed to be like the actual crow. The Evil Queen's like actual crow, or at least a descendant of it. And he wants to bring back the Great Seven or something like. That's what I feel like Crowley's been trying to do all along. That's the thing that I've always theorized with Crowley, is that he's probably trying to incite these overblots to get something. Because again, with Ida's overblot specifically, Ida can't overblot naturally. because his curse prevents him from doing so because he burns the block too fast. So it can't accumulate in his body and overblood him, which is why I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to orchestrate all these previous overblocks so that way Styx would have to interfere so he can get Ida to overblock. Oh, and working more on my story and my mom's helping me. Oh, that's so nice. Ah, that's nice. I don't really like sharing my stuff with my parents or my family. Every time I've shared something with my sister, it just gets awkward when she talks about how I make characters look. How could Malleus be related to the evil Queen's Crow directly when they're just regular crows? Yeah, Malleus isn't connected to Crowley, that's why. Again, Malleus's father would be connected to the Raven, which is, Diablo. Also, just let my mom keep telling me to make my Overblock Horn King to kill Crowley. No, Malleus is Sleeping Beauty Crow. Raven, yeah. Again, there is a distinction, it's just, I feel like it probably took a while for people to figure out the distinction because in Japanese, there is no distinction between crows and ravens. They just share the same word. And like the only way to actually specify what it is probably more through the imagery rather than the naming convention. Along with the fact that Crowley's name did go through a pronunciation change very early on in the game. Because his name is meant to be pronounced as Dear Crowley. Not Dire Crowley, which is how I usually default to saying his name because I kind of forget that his name is supposed to be pronounced Dear. But how could Crowley be connected to crows? You got me mixing the two up. Bro, say my dyslexic brain be doing that sometimes. Also, I made an Owl House reference with when Luz, the main girl from the Owl House, dies. Interesting. I tried watching the Owl House. I only saw one episode and I kind of got bored. Rip. I wasn't vibing with the Owl House, I'm sorry. But what was I saying about Crowley again? Something about his connections to Snow White and Ponfiore, yeah. And how he does not have any connections to the Raven or Malleus's father. Because again, Crowley, he like, we first meet him, he's interacting with the magic mirror. Well, the dark mirror. Which I wouldn't be surprised if that dark mirror is specifically the same one as the Evil Queen's magic mirror. Also, I made it where I met, I think, Mickey when I died. Interesting story. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to mention Yu's voice actor. Yu's voice acting is okay. Again, I feel like I keep forgetting him because that's a character that doesn't show up in the game, so I have no connection to what his voice should sound like anyway. I asked how can Crowley be connected to the Queen's Crows when there are normal animals? Oh, because in Twisted Wonderland, apparently, people can still have connection to animals? Because there's animals who can use magic in Twisted Wonderland, or at least that there were animals that could use magic. It's kind of implied. Because I'm pretty sure that's how Leona is connected to the Lion King. If we're using the Lion King story as lore for Twisted Wonderland. Because it's more like over the centuries, the things evolved, I guess. Because people also talk to animals in Twisted Wonderland. That's also something that I forget is a thing that people can just do. Like, they can learn how to speak animal languages. So I wouldn't be surprised if Crowley is literally just a descendant of that crow. Although Crowley is employed to be a fae. But there are bird beastmen that exist, and beastmen and fae can kind of be confused for each other. Because the Fairy Gala events kind of hint that they can be confused for each other. Under, like, the right circumstances. Mickey even talks about his old friend, Walt Disney. I'm just surprised that crows got freaky with fae. I think it's more like evolution in the sense of like Darwinism or something when it comes to like magic animals kind of becoming the beastmen of Twisted Wonderland. At least that's how I kind of think that's how that works. Because again, there are a bunch of regular normal animals in the world of Twisted Wonderland, they just don't use magic. And they don't really talk. You can learn their language, but they don't speak English at all. Because again, the Chip and Dale event also kind of reminded me that, oh yeah, you can take an animal language and kind of vaguely learn how to speak to the animals like a Disney princess. And I'm pretty sure Tren probably understands his cat. Could be, yeah. Because again, animal language is a thing, and I think some of the characters actually, that's one of their best subjects in Twisted Wonderland. And I think Riddle probably is good at that, because he spends a lot of time with the hedgehogs. What is Riddle's best subject in this practical magic? I forget who has animal language as one of their better subjects. I'm gonna say Jack, but I don't think so. And then there's Grimm. What are you, man? I need answers! I think he's a weird failed overblot monster or something. Even Grimm doesn't know what he is. Grimm just popped into existence with bare bones memories. All he knows is he wants to be the greatest mage in all of Twisted Wonderland. I want to say Silver. What is Silver's best? No, Silver's best subject was like defense magic and stuff like that. Who had animal language as their best one? I know it's not Rook. Rook has art. Leona has ancient curses. Silver just got a bunch of animals on him by sleeping. Not Grimm, no! Drizzle. Rogi's the one whose best skill is animal languages. It's like, I knew one of the characters had it, I just forgot which one it was. But yeah, Rogi's the one with the animal language skills. Honestly, I'm kind of sad that Bryce Papenbook doesn't voice Rogi, because the weird little hyena laugh that Rogi does, I can see him doing that. Or at least the equivalent of that noise. I still find it funny how Azul can speak to Lucius when he's a fish. Because animal languages can be taught. Everybody can be a Disney princess in Twisted Wonderland, you just gotta take a class. But it's very specific to whatever animal you're trying to learn. Because apparently the language for rodents is very complicated. Rogi. Yeah, Rogi's best subject is animal languages. And Azul's best subject is alchemy, but Azul's also good at a lot of other things. Yeah. And Jamil's best subject is ancient incantations, which is different from ancient curses, apparently. Because Leona's got ancient curses. Which honestly it makes sense with some of their unique magics. Because again, Leona turns things to sand, and that gives off ancient desert curse vibes, and then Jamil controls people, which gives off like ancient incantation vibes. Saw a fan comic where you turned into a cat and no one can find them until you speaks to Lucius. Speaking of subjects, stream idea. Tier list of all the classes in Night Raven College based on what you think you'd most like to take. Ooh, that could be a fun one, because then I can have an excuse to actually look at all the best subjects, because there's definitely a lot of stuff in Twisted Wonderland when it comes to Night Raven College's curricula. I need to try and make a list of it. Because I forget how many subjects there are, because there's like your usual stuff like art in here and like math classes. But then you also have like the, you know, more fantastical ones like ancient curses and summoning and stuff like that. Which is Ida's best subject. Ida is good at summoning. And we actually do see evidence of that in the Diasomnia chapter when he just summons Riddle to his location. He's like, bro, help me. We need to code now. A lot of stuff also, like Harry Potter. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to describe it. Because again, they have like regular stuff that you would find at a school setting. Like they have their gym classes, they have their art classes, literature and stuff like that. But then you have the more magical stuff like magic history and magical engineering, alchemy, potion making, stuff like that. Defense magic. Also, I saw a theory that the reason Trey is so controlling about brushing teeth is because of Riddle's mom being like, bah, Riddle, your teeth will rot from the tarts. Yeah, I saw that too. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. That woman scarred him. And we see how badly he scarred him, honestly, in his dream, man. Trey, oh, Trey. Something ain't right. Part of that blame is from Riddle's mother. Part of his problems come from the one-off encounter he had with a crazy woman who yelled at his parents and took away his only little friend besides Chenya. Riddle's mom is an abuser. Yeah. Yeah, she is. She's like a very over-the-top controlling helicopter parent. Controlled every aspect of Riddle's life, prevented him from actually enjoying childhood. Which is also why I say that Riddle is just another version of CL, because Riddle and CL have similar personalities, but different circumstances. Because again, both Riddle and CL, they kind of have to act older than they actually are, but when they're given the chance to actually act more their age, they definitely take it. I would just say though, CL's a little bit more bratty about it. CL is a lot more sarcastic and stuff. Riddle is just more childlike wonder. And a little standoffish about enjoying in childlike wonder, but then it's like, oh, I actually had fun. Childlike whimsy. I've never experienced this before. Yeah. Basically, both of those characters just never had a childhood. Indeed, indeed. Wow, the wiki updated pretty quickly after that announcement with the English voice casting. Ew. Yeah. Hmm. I'm glad Riddle's mom's face is never shown. Yeah. I still think she looks like Madame Red. Like she kind of has the build of Madame Red, honestly. And again, it's Yana's character designs. If she wants to reuse stuff from Black Butler in a different context, she is so allowed to do so. And I feel like that's what Riddle's mother looks like. Along with the fact that this game wasn't so heavily connected to Disney, Malleus's mother would not look like how she does. Who's Madame Red? Madame Red is a character from Black Butler who, spoilers, does not show up for very long. She's a character that shows up very early on, and she's Ciel's aunt. I can pull up a picture. And honestly, now that I'm looking at her, Jade's mother also kind of looks like Madame Red, at least outfit-wise. I want to find a good picture, though. But also, this outfit is also similar to what Riddle's mom is wearing in the manga and the anime bits that we see. She has like a Victorian look. Which is not surprising, considering Black Butler has Victorian-era London aesthetics. There she is. There's a crusty PNG, but context, this is what Madame Red looks like. I see the director of the game just can't let go of her babies. Exactly! Because there's a different gacha game that she did character art for. She only did one character design, but that character design looks a lot like Ciel. Kind of like how Riddle has Ciel energy about him. Honestly, any excuse she can to just kind of draw her characters, again, in new context, I feel like she takes it. Because there's also a few characters in Black Butler who show up at some point before Twisted Wonderland was like a confirmed thing. And I like to call those characters the pseudo Twisted Wonderland arc. It's the Weston School arc, which is it's already animated, and that arc, I feel like that's where the prototype designs of some of the Twisted Wonderland characters went. Because like some of the prototype designs and then some of the character designs in that era of Black Butler kind of look similar. I know, what was his name again? Greenwood or something? He looks like Sebek. I wish Jade's VA still voiced him. Same. The fact that he can also sing in character too is also a bonus. That was a wasted opportunity in my opinion. Again, you have Disney money to throw around. Why couldn't you do that? Now I want Disney to just give Yana the rights. I know. Me too. Then we can have the real vision of Malleus Draconia's mother. And Silver's mother. Have you seen the way Yana draws women? They're very pretty. If you thought the women in Twisted Wonderland were already pretty, they could be even prettier. But yeah, it's so sad though, cause like I feel like you could have gotten away with having Jade's original VA just voice him in English. But I wouldn't be surprised if that would have been too much for the schedule though. But at the same time, if you had to, you could have just reused his game lines for some of the anime. at least in Japanese, but I think they re-recorded everything in Japanese for the anime anyway. Third Twisted Wonderland Halloween song, the fact that Yana made them sing in English. And the fact that not all of them were singing in English too. Jade's VA, Appel's VA, and Scully's VA did not sing the song. They're not credited in there anyway, so they didn't get a chance to sing in English. But the ones who did sing in English definitely tried their best. And honestly, they did pretty good. It is such a cute cover of This Is Halloween. And Jade definitely has the clearest lines out of most of them. Like, if you weren't familiar with the song of This Is Halloween, I feel like you probably wouldn't hear the lyrics very well. But Jade's lines were definitely the cleanest. And Leona's VA. They were pretty good. Because I was talking about this with a friend once too, about how, like, it's definitely a skill to not only just voice act, but to voice act in character while singing. And or doing other things. Because, like, that's a skill. And not every VA can sing. And not every VA can sing in character as their characters. That's definitely more of like a skill that makes a theater actor a bit more valuable for a voice actor, because they're more able to do that. Spec sounds great, and Jamil. Vil was okay too. Vil does not sing at all. Yeah, even though there's lyrics popping up when Vil and Appel are singing, or in the little animation, they're not singing. I think even in the game, if you look up the credits in there, it'll show all the voice actors that sung the song. And Scully, Vil, and Appel were the only three who didn't get a chance to sing. Maybe because of the lyrics, I think. I feel like they each gave like a character some lines from like a specific character who's singing in the thing. Deleted, but I said that Leona was good and I thought Vil sings. Yeah. I think I caught it. I think it just didn't show up on here. Oh no, because I see it. You said that Leona did a good job. And that Vil... yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Vil didn't get a chance to sing in English. Yeah, Riddle was cute. It sounded cute. I don't know, I feel like that's the difficulty with, like, Riddle's voice, at least for me when it comes to his English voice, because it doesn't have that same balance that Riddle's voice has, where it sounds cute, but also unhinged when he loses his temper. Also, Leona solo for Beastmen who hates singing. Speaking of Leona who hates singing, the live 3D concert thing, apparently Leona's performance, he doesn't move around a lot. When he's singing his song, or any of the songs where he's singing, he doesn't move much. So that's fun to know. Also, the choreography for Far Out, which is the Scarabia Dorm song, I want to see it. Because from what I've heard, there's some crazy choreography going on between those two. Because again, Jamil and Kaleem canonically are very good breakdancers. And that was proven with this live show. As well as the fact that part of their choreography involves Jamil mimicking his unique magic on Kaleem, and I think that's hilarious. I know, I need to see that. When we get the DVD rip, I want to see it. Also, if I get Disney Plus back, I want to see it, because apparently the live 3D Blazing Jewel concert is going to be on Disney Plus for a bit. And honestly, I need to see that. And I did mention this earlier when I talked about it earlier today too. Azul's performance for his solo is apparently sensual to people. Because the way he's holding the mic stand, people were losing their minds. As well as like some of the in-between song segments. Because again, you can't really see the characters that well from a distance. So people were able to differentiate between Jade and Floyd based on their movements. What's it called again? Blazing Jewel Live 3D Concert. Because remember the Blazing Jewel event from the previous anniversary? This is apparently the results of their training. The results of their idol training finally put to 3D, and I think that's a fun way to integrate a concert like that with the game. It's just a fun... It's so fun. I love that. They also had, the Halloween songs performed as well, but apparently the Halloween songs were also performed at a different event too, so they kind of just reused that. Because some of this stuff is reused from some other special concert events with Twisted Wonderland that I don't think have been released. But this one specifically is going to be released. The previous stuff wasn't released. There was like no recording allowed, so that one's harder to find stuff for. But because some of this stuff is reused from those events, we'll finally be able to see what it is. Yeah. I also like the fact that Ortho does fly around, apparently. In the Live 2D, and Malleus and Lilia, they're magical. Apparently Lilia does do the thing where he just pops out of nowhere. So we finally get some more visual context as to how that looks. Also, my mom getting more into Twist alone. I've gotten a few friends into Twisted Wonderland. I'm in the process of getting some more people into it, honestly. Cause it's just fun. Especially because I poorly explain the game's premise. Because I get so excited, and at the same time it's like I don't want to spoil anything, but at the same time it's like, well, if you're not gonna bother, I might as well spoil it for you, but I also want you to experience it yourself. Like, I'm not that good at explaining, but at the same time it's like I want to tell you everything, but because you do not have context, I do not want to tell you everything. Honestly, sometimes I do think about wanting to do a stream with my mom where she guesses Twisted Wonderland stuff, but like I don't know. She won't play the game, same with me, oof, but my mom, I'm not a fan of Jamil. Oof. I like Jamil, he pretty and crazy. I remember I was talking to this friend that I'm trying to get into Twisted Wonderland. I was talking about Jamil, and I'm like, if bad, why hot? If crazy, why hot? Yes, please do that. I mean, I can try, but like, she doesn't really know anything about this stuff that much. I mean, she knows I have like a YouTube channel that I use for animation stuff, but she doesn't actually look at it. But like, I don't know. It's like, I feel like I want to do something fun like that, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's awkward. But then again, she watches One Piece, so I feel like it would be fun to see her kind of guess what the characters can do because she's at least seen enough anime to kind of get an understanding of what anime characters look like more than my dad. Guarantee my dad would just call almost every one of these characters a woman. Mom doesn't like Jamil, and she ships me with Leona and Malleus. That's so funny. I love that. I feel like the only character that I have a great distaste for is Vargas. All the other characters in Twisted Wonderland, it's either I like them, they're okay, they're cool, I'm chill, and then there's Crowley, who it's like, I know that you're up to no good, And then there's my boy Ortho, who is like my absolute favorite in the whole wide world, who deserves everything. I cannot say no to Ortho. I love my mom, but So that reminds me of something my friend told me once, where she's like, my mom was watching this anime. She was watching Brothers Conflict, and she actually liked it. And I'm just like, how could you like that? It's just like, it gives soap opera vibes. I don't know if you know what Brothers Conflict is, but it's an anime that exists. Weird premise as well, but I think it's funny that the way that the mom talked about it was just like, oh, I liked that one. It felt like a soap opera. Who even likes Vargas? There are people out there who like Vargas, but I am not one of them. He reminds me too much of a gym teacher of previous gym teachers that I've had in the past, and I'm just like, I do not vibe with you, sir. My friends there, an anime called Rent the Girlfriend. Yeah, I've heard of that one. It's not very good either. I mean, I like watching harem anime to an extent, but sometimes there is garbage out there that's just like, this is boring. Or it's horribly written. I feel that way about Vampire Knight, even though it's technically not that. It has more of like a love triangle thing going on, but it's confusingly written at a certain point. I'm just like, what is happening? I've mentioned this before as well, Vampire Knight. Like, the incest thing doesn't bother me as much. It's more like the weird, confusing family tree and surprise plot twists that make it more annoying. And it's like, you could have just went for the vampire hunter guy instead, but no. No, you had to make things way more complicated and put that boy through the ringer, and in the end you're in a weird love triangle thing with the main characters. So I saw Twst manga, Twst fan art manga. It was You know, I might keep this GIF. I might keep this GIF for me. Rule 34? One of the ever-present rules of the internet. As well as 63, which is gender bends. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind spicy stuff in general, honestly. I'm just very professional about when and where I like it. And or very picky. I love ginger bends. I've drawn some, but I feel like people would hate my interpretation of Malleus because I wanted to have fun with it, okay? It's not a crime to draw characters with big boobs when Yana does it too, you know. Also, it was a Floyd, and I forgot the other character. Oh. I do like seeing Twst gender bends. Some of them are actually pretty good. Others, I'm like, what was the point? Like, what was the point in attempting a gender bend if you're not really going to attempt a gender bend? The only character I can see that working for is Appel, because Appel's character specifically is kind of androgynous looking. And that's kind of like the whole point of his character, is that he's not as manly as he wants to be. So, like, if you were to do, like, gender bend girl of Appel, it would still look the same, but would have the opposite problem of she keeps being mistaken for a little boy. Bro, I saw a gender bend artist who gave Malleus big boobies. I did too! And that's why I said if Yana was able to draw the characters more like how she draws her Black Butler characters, Malleus's mother would have a much more appealing design, in my opinion. I mean, she's already pretty as is, but imagine. There wouldn't be any sheer stalking in that costume design, no. Yana likes drawing women too, man. The Emerald Witch arc, I think I have the volume where she says this, but like she basically kind of wanted an excuse to just draw a bunch of pretty women after drawing a bunch of boys for so long. It was funny. It's like she's like, I just wanted an excuse to draw pretty women with guns. Oh wow, 2 hours, is this a record? Yes, apparently, because I'm very energetic today. And currently we are now discussing Twisted Wonderland gender bends and Malleus with big boobs. Because that's how I drew my gender bend Malleus too. I kind of want to redraw some of them though, because they were just like they were just for me, pretty much. I just wanted to have fun with it because I found a post that was kind of annoying where it's like, if you're gonna make gender bends, you shouldn't be doing this, and that. And I'm like, shut up. I can do what I want. Malleus boobies. Exactly. I think I've also drawn Malleus's mother, but like with the outfit not as toned down as it is in the game. It's like it's the same outfit, but you know the part that's like sheer stocking or whatever, it's like I just got rid of it. Cause like honestly, I feel like that's what the design would have been. But it's like, you know, we have to tone this down anyway, and this game is more about pretty boys than it is about the women. Yeah, it's cause gender bend Malleus is almost always drawn with big tits. It's definitely one of the characters where I feel like you can get away with that anyway, because again, not human, very pretty on purpose, and his build doesn't really match his actual abilities in physical strength. Because again, regular Malleus in general, he's strong, he can break down cave walls with his bare hands, but he's not really built like a brick house. Thank goodness for Yana. Yana loves drawing pretty women. Again, Emerald Witch arc was an excuse to draw pretty women with guns. She just wanted to have fun. And thank Lord Disney picked Yana for it. Yeah, pretty much. And thank goodness they just they just gave her full reign over it pretty much, because she thought she was brought in just to do the character designs and that's it, but then it's like, tell us more. You know what? You're hired. You're in charge of overseeing the entire thing. This is your baby now. But yeah, I gotta go. I gotta dip. I need to do things now. It was fun yapping for so long. Again, Halloween model is probably not gonna be out this week, but I'm trying to get it to completion because I'm still in the process of rigging it, but I have to figure out how to rig it. It takes a while to rig the models sometimes because it's like, oh no, I can't do it like this because this program is restricting me. Help. Yana, pretty handsome men and women's boobies. True fan service equality is having both pretty men and pretty women, okay? You can't have one without the other. You can't get rid of either. You must embrace both in all aspects. Off topic, I like giving my adult male characters feminine hips and thighs and wear robes that border on actual dresses because why not? They don't all gotta look like stiff brick walls. That's how I draw some of my male characters too. Because it's funny, sometimes I will post a bit about one of my characters on my Twitter sometimes, and people think that it's a girl, but then I'm like, no. Even when I'm not trying, that's just how my art style defaults sometimes. Men in dress hot. I'm picky about that too, because it's like, yes, men in dress hot, but like, is the dress right for the body type? The important question. You can't just put man in dress and expect it to be hot. You must fit the dress to the body. But okay, I gotta go. I'm doing the Spanish thing again where I just keep yapping. Even though I say I'm leaving and I keep yapping. Okay, I gotta go. The music died a long time ago. That was my cue to stop talking, but no, I had to keep going. I'm just too excited and energized, and I kind of had to bottle up a lot of what I wanted to talk about because I couldn't yap about it with my friend because time zone differences, and he had to go to sleep. My Rosen is Phil, but looks even more woman, even though he isn't. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye! Wednesday, probably OC drawings again, I don't know, or Halloween Twisted Wonderland fan art. I kind of want to draw Scully again. I've drawn him before, but I want to draw him again because he's cute, and I want him in Twisted Wonderland. I need his card. I must summon him. He is so cute. And I'll probably change my waiting screen to just the card of Scully's uncapped card for Halloween for the rest